No one really tells you this, but there are things you need to know before you go to the salon. What's good, everybody? It's your friendly internet curly hair stylist and your main girl Mel, here with another video to talk about how to go into your salon appointment, such as what to ask for when you're booking your appointment, especially while you're trying to book some of the current hottest trends that are on trend for especially curly hair. And I'm also going to share how to have some realistic expectations while going into the salon so you don't leave disappointed or traumatized, because we've all been there, especially if you have curly hair. This is why my passions include helping you figure out your hair one day at a time, or rather 1 week at a time. New videos every week on Texture Tuesday here on this channel. Maybe you should subscribe to me. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Hold on. Yes, I'd like to book an appointment. Okay, so the first place to start is to look for your inspiration photos. Take a look at some of mine. These all reflect a lot of the trends going on right now. Right now, everyone is looking for really lived-in color. This means low maintenance, and this benefits really everybody. Low maintenance colors have a way softer grow out. Take me for example. This look is very rooty, but it is still very, very trendy because there is a transition, there is a soft blend, and you can see this trend all throughout fashion. It's very modern right now, even though a lot of our current hair trends are influenced and inspired by decades prior. For example, 90s looks are very in. They all have a modern twist. So right now, it's lived-in looks for both your color as well as your haircuts. Long flowy layers that give a lot of movements and framing around the face, but that also have a lot of fullness and not too much layering throughout, is something that we are seeing a lot of. And although a lot of these looks are very natural, you can always make them super fun with a pop of color and different types of tones. Even me alone, I'm rocking some little rose gold hints in my hair, but you can take that above and beyond by putting full-on pink in your hair, or even going copper. Reds are very, very trendy. They look good on a lot of people, more than you think, and they can give so much life and warmth to hair that maybe washed out looking. I myself am super inspired by these warm tones. I would color my hair auburn right now if I had time, but I don't. So stop judging my hair right now. It's fine for now. This is about you. So first things first, make sure you find those inspiration photos that you're looking for, but let's set realistic expectations right now, because the photos you look at should resemble what your hair naturally looks like. I'll give you a few examples. If I'm looking for a haircut and a hair color inspiration photo, I want to find hair that looks like a similar curl pattern to me, maybe even a similar density. And I'm also looking at the root color. I'm looking at how light that hair is compared to how dark my hair is. When I compare the photo to my hair, it's going to allow me to understand the level of change that my hair has to go through in order to get that look, especially when it comes to color. As for cuts, there's one thing we can't change, and that is our natural hair texture without extreme color processes. You can relax and soften the curl. To make it tighter, you'd have to get a perm, and to be straight up, there's not perms that look like this. And so I want my inspiration pics to look like me. That's the first thing. Where can you find these? Honestly, head to Pinterest. Pinterest is incredible. I feel like even over the last little bit, the last year, they have really stepped up their game. And I need to step up my game and post more on Pinterest. Hey, I'll put my Pinterest link below. If you follow me, it will inspire me to post on there. But go on there and look up what your hair type is, and you'll be able to find lots of inspiration photos for you to go off of. That's the first place to start, and it's a great way to prevent disappointment. You have to know what your hair is capable of. Now, just one more thing that is super important when looking at these inspiration photos is determining what you love most about this look, because sometimes what we love most has nothing to do with the haircut. Sometimes it's just how it's styled. Prime example right here. This look looks like this because of its styling. Another way for me to explain this to you is just by emphasizing how different curly hair looks from curly to straight. And so again, finding photos of hair that looks like yours and hair that is styled how you are going to style it most of the time is going to give you a more accurate representation of how the hair is going to look. One more quick example of this, you can see how in straight hair versus curly or curled hair, color takes on a whole new light. Literally. If you have highlights in your hair, they may appear much lighter in hair that has been straightened out or blown out, as opposed to when the hair is curled and curly, which gives the hair more depth, creates more shadowing, and it can make the hair look a little bit darker in certain lightings. I also want you to look very closely at these types of highlights. The types of highlights are also going to make a big difference. I always say, baby lights, those really fine little micro highlights, they are not meant for curly hair because they are just going to disappear. I've had this done before. I was very disappointed because, well, my hair didn't look blonde after getting so many highlights put in because my curls just completely absorbed them. So just as a quick rule of thumb, in curly hair, chunky is better. And also keeping dimension and depth and keeping some dark throughout to make those lighter bits pop is really going to give your highlights this kind of look, this look, versus a more solid overall look that maybe has a sheen to it, but not pops of color. Nothing wrong with that. If you want that, then you're gonna want fine baby lights. But if you want dimension, you're gonna want good old chunky highlights. And you know who does those best? Besides, hopefully, a curl specialist, an experienced stylist that lived through the 90s. They are not afraid. They know what they're doing. So now let's talk about how to book your appointment on the phone with the salon. First, take a look at what your inspiration photos are. And based on the type of look you want, whether that is bold, lived in, bright, fashion colors, or anything in between, you want to make sure you're going to a professional that is comfortable doing these services. You want to find someone that specializes in this work and has the work to prove it. Always look for portfolios, and that's what Instagram is for. And possibly Pinterest, but finding a stylist, flipping through their Instagram is a great way to determine if you're going to be a good fit for them, because if they're doing hair like yours, they're going to know how to do hair that is yours. So let's recap. We found our inspiration photo. Now we have found our professional that specializes and can give us the look that we want, that we can achieve based on the realistic expectations that we are having. It's a grown thing to do. It's a grown thing. Sometimes it's hard to step back and be like, damn it, I want that, but I can't have that. Sometimes it's got to be like that. We are ready to book the appointment with that stylist. So I don't know if this is going to be a very straightforward answer, but you should definitely check out the stylist website or their services list and see how they like to book their services. Many services in salon are booked a la carte, which means you get the color done, that's got its own charge. You get the cut done, which is usually with the style. It's a whole kind of style. You get your roots done. That's covering up, a root touch-up like grays. That's going to be very different from getting a root touch-up like these, which is highlights. Is that confusing? Let me show you a couple pictures to show you what I mean. For something like this, to achieve this look, I know that I need to get highlights. But notice how it has that really lived-in, rooted effect. In order to get this type of look, where the highlights are high up to the root, but they have this shadow, you need to get a root shadow. A root shadow is applying a color or toner that is closer to your natural color just at the root to soften the blend of highlights. It gives it that really soft, lived-in look, super on trend, and not always included with your highlights appointment. That's something to be aware of. If you are showing your stylist these types of photos, you might hear them mention that they're going to do a root shadow or a root melt. There's honestly a million types of different names, but it all does the same thing. And it is an added-on service. So building up the price expectations, if I wanted to get these look, I know I would have to book for a full head of highlights. I expect to get a shadow root done with that as well, which would include the rest of the gloss, a full toner, so I can get that type of shade of blonde, and then my cut and style. Doing all of that, I expect to spend several hours in the salon. In fact, if I'm in and out within 2, I'm leaving a bad review, because for curly hair to go that blonde, I definitely want to go low and slow. But hey, that's a different story for another day. Every stylist has their own techniques, and that's why you should definitely check out what their service list looks like and try to get that consultation beforehand. Let's move on to another look that's super trendy to just give you guys a good idea of how to book for these things and what to expect when you're going to the salon. This is a gorgeous look that is super on trend, and I want to use the reverse example for this one, where instead of going from dark to light hair, you're going from light hair to dark hair. To achieve a color as dark as this, so drastic from what I already look like, you want to book in for a color correction. That might sound a little extreme. I know what you're thinking. Just slap the color on and you should be good, right? You're going darker, no bleach needed. But listen, although you're not removing any color, you do need to add a lot of color, and there are steps to going darker like that so that you don't shock the hair and so that the color is as vibrant and long-lasting as you want it to be. Achieving this is a two-step color process, especially if you're going more than 3 levels darker than what your hair already is. And by booking for a color correction, it's going to give your stylist the right amount of time to first fill in the color that is needed and then apply on your final desired color to achieve exactly what you're looking for without any rushing. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not just one color application. It could be 2, it could even be 3. And something like this is much more complicated than it might seem, which is why, again, find your trusted professional that has a lot of experience in doing work like this so you know what to expect when you're leaving the salon. Now, I'm truly going to speak from the stylist perspective. If you are leaving the salon with such a drastic change, you've either gone lighter or you've gone darker, you can expect your stylist to offer you other services on top of just the main color and cut that you are doing. Other add-on services such as treatments like doing Olaplex, especially if you're going lighter. You might be offered something called K18, which is a whole different thing we have not talked about yet. They might offer you a deep conditioning treatment. They will also recommend you products to use at home after your hair color appointment. And I would take what they offer you very seriously, especially since they have the most experience in the color line they have used and the products that they are retailing to you. They know how these products work together, and they're going to give you the longest lasting color for best looking results. Now, it's totally up to you if you choose not to do these things, but back to those realistic expectations, it's going to be harder for you to maintain that professional look at home if you don't follow the proper post-color care maintenance. I've made a whole video about how to care for your hair color and maintain your hair color after doing your hair color last year. I'll put that video here for you to check it out. It's very helpful because, again, that at-home maintenance even after you leave the salon is super important in order to keep up those expectations, because if not, you can expect your look to fade faster, maybe not be as vibrant, maybe not have the same amount of shine and just, you know, that in-salon look and feel that we sometimes feel like we can never get again. Listen, you can. And you should ask them what they recommend in terms of your maintenance for the hairstyle that you got. Every different type of hair color and haircut is going to require different types of maintenance. For example, our hair should definitely be trimmed or dusted every 6 to 8 weeks. But honestly, for that, you can do it at home. I created a whole video. However, for the big jobs, the real maintaining of your shape and your color, you want to keep in mind how often you should come back in order to keep your look fresh. And if you loved how your hair looked, you should definitely book in advance. While you're there, say, hey, let's book the next one now. That way you're sure you can get in, especially before you have a special function. Wedding season is back, baby. The holidays are around the corner, and it's time to make this hair warmer. I feel I'm ready to do my hair. Are you? Do you feel like this video helped prepare you and set your expectations? Now we know how to find our realistic inspiration photos, especially based off of the current trends. We know how to find our stylist, how to book with the stylist, and I mean book all of the services and the time needed. Remember that consulting is going to be key. Every stylist does things a little bit differently. I can't give you direct quotes, and answers in today's video because you're going to have to talk to your stylist. And don't be shy to shop around and get your hair done with someone who makes you feel super comfortable and you know has the confidence to give you the hair that you want. And hopefully you won't have to book for any therapy by the time you're done. Keep them on speed dial just in case, but I rest my case. Did you find this video helpful? Will you now give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see more videos like this and so much more on the channel each and every Texture Tuesday? I hope you do. And so I thank you for watching. I'm Mains by Mell, your main girl Mell, your virtual internet curly hair stylist, and I am out. Peace. I feel like you are my child, and I am your curl mom, and we are nourishing your hair 1 week at a time. What's yours is mine. Okay, make sure you, whatever clippings, put them in a little Ziploc and send them to my P.O. box. Don't worry what for. It's fine. I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. You're silly. SD card full. I've got to drink tea like that. Tea break. It's cooled just enough. Today's tea of the day is not sponsored by Godiva yet again. This is my favorite tea mug. It's so massive. And I'm drinking the Aveda tea. It's just my favorite. If you're going to Aveda salon to get your hair done, you better ask for the Aveda tea. Just don't have too many cups because you will be running to the washroom. But it is just so good. Where were we? Where were we? Anyways, that's where we were. Past thinking.